What's up with Z-grills? Are they any good? Is it worth buying? Well, I have these grills behind me. We're going to take a look at all of them, see if one of these grills is right for you. Scott Williamson here from Grill Parts for Less, and behind me here we have a whole pile of Z-grills. Now Z-grills is not like a lot of other grills that you're going to see. There's a lot of really good things about these grills, but let's say Traeger, for example. Americans can accept Traeger very easily because the company is set up in such a way that we can identify with it. But they have a high tier, they have a next tier down, they have a low tier. There's a hierarchy of what's involved, and traditionally, the more you spend, the more grill you're going to get, or the better quality you're going to get, or you're going to get more service, or you're going to get something of value the more that you spend. Z-Grills does this a lot differently. And it's not a bad thing, because there are many different ways to sell stuff. With Z-Grills, there seems to be all kinds of different grills. They're all at a price point that is below a certain threshold. They are shipped to you from a warehouse, and there doesn't seem to be really a home base for these. I mean, there is their website, and that's good. But if you peruse their website and you start looking, the only thing that you can really determine about them is that lots of other people have determined that they're a good grill. On social media, they're all over the place. They follow you around in your Facebook feed or in your YouTube feed. They're very, very heavily marketed on social media and the internet. But when you go to their website and you look at the grills, it's not set up in the kind of way that you would expect that a grill company would be set up. They don't have the things that all of these other grill companies have. What Z-Grills is trying to do is sell grills in a different way, which is direct to consumer from the factory. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know, if there's a grill company out there that's making a grill that's made in China, there's a very good chance that Z-Grills, the manufacturer of Z-Grills, their factory has made that grill. For example, Grilla is exactly this grill right here, the 700E. This grill over here, this grill, the barrel of it is actually a Traeger Pro 22. And then there are some other similarities going on. If you look over here at the 1000 series, it's shaped almost exactly like a Camp Chef. I want to take you on a little tour of these grills, show you what I like, what I don't like about some of them, what a lot of the similarities are, and how these grills are actually going to compete with the grills that they're kind of the cousins of. Looking at the Z-Grills 1000 series versus the Camp Chef. Now, this is the most deluxe grill in the Z-Grills 1000 series, and this is the most deluxe grill in the Camp Chef. And right away you can see that there are quite a few similarities. In the shape anyway, they both have a flat back. However, the Camp Chef puts its chimney on the back side, so it doesn't obstruct the side shelf, which is kind of nice because this can be used unimpeded. Z-Grills puts its chimney over here above the shelf, not really in the way that much, but it does come out 4 inches and it is 6 inches high, so you can't really put anything tall right here. Not that you would or you wouldn't, but who knows. But I can show you that as far as placing a cutting board on the Z-Grills, it fits really nice. And this side shelf is supported very, very well. Over here on the Camp Chef, this shelf is not supported quite as nice. Overall, the construction on these two, I'm going to have to give a nod to the Z-Grills. The Z-Grills construction is actually probably a bit better for the value than what you're going to get here on the Camp Chef. This is going to be $599. Side shelf, front shelf, bottom shelf, and a hopper that serves as an additional side shelf. The length across is 26 inches, whereas with the Woodwind, it's 24 inches. There is a front shelf that you can buy for this. It mounts right down here, but it does not come with the unit, and this unit is going to run you almost $900, $845. Plus you may have to pay some shipping if you order it. The hopper capacity is about the same. With the Camp Chef, there is a dump on the back to get your pellets out, and there is not one of those on the 1000 from Z-Grills. The difference here, what makes this a really nice grill, two things, is it has a direct flame mode. So by pulling this out, we can create some fire underneath the grease pan. Pushing it back in is going to get rid of that. And with the Z-Grills, it's going to be convection cooking only. The second thing that's really big about these two is that this has a digital Wi-Fi controller on the Camp Chef. It has the available for 4 meat probes, and it's actually a very nice controller, very easy to use. I really like the layout, and it's color, and it is an LCD screen. What you get from the Z-Grills is you get a basic digital control. From a market perspective, the controller on the Z-Grills is about 10 years old in the timeline of what people were using 10 years ago. Will it work? Yes. Is it a good, trusted controller? Yes. Does it have all the bells and whistles? No, it does not. But that's why this grill is under $600, and it's why this grill is going to cost you close to 900 bucks. With the Z-Grills, you get 3 different tiers of cooking, and you probably won't use all of that at the same time, but they do come out, and there is a tray on the bottom that you can pull out for vacuuming the ash, but you can also store your grids in there when you're not using them. The Camp Chef has 2 racks, and the top ones will slide around, but if you take them out, there's really no place to store them other than down here if you don't already have something in there. One other thing about these 2 grills is I'm almost 6 feet tall, just under. My wife is 5'3", and she can take this and she can put this up, and she can grab it and she can pull it back down. But she cannot do it with this one. And to be honest, I can barely do it. That's a stretch. And you don't want to hit your wrist on this when you put it up, so you kind of have to bring your arm up over like that. And I would like to see that corrected in some way if possible, because anyone who is, you know, sub 5'6" is not going to be able to open up the lid on this grill without having to touch it with something else. Overall, with the 2 of these grills, comes with a front shelf, more cooking space, a little bit bigger hopper, bigger bottom shelf, nicer wheels, more solid construction. This would be a world-class smoker, no problem, and a pretty decent grill. You have to make your choice of which is the best grill for you. Okay, so this is the Z-Grills 550A, and you can get this grill for under 500 bucks. It's $439. And when I was putting this together, I was stricken by how similar this grill is to the Pro 22 in the Traeger lineup, or the Eastwood 22, or the 22 series, because this is a 22 series barrel, and all of the components on the inside are 22 series components. Same drip pan, same burn pot, same warming rack, same grid, and same handle, pretty much the same lid with a different hinge setup. But they don't have the chimney coming out over here like Traeger does. They moved it to the back, coming off the back of the barrel, which I actually think is kind of a nice place for it, to be honest, because when I was putting this together, I did this before I did anything over here, and I was like, oh, that's great. They moved the chimney out of the way so it won't be inside in the way of the side shelf. They don't have a side shelf on this. They put a handle over here. Why would you put a handle on this side of the grill? This is where the wheels are. You're not going to pick it up on this side. You're going to pick it up over here on this side and roll it. Traeger puts their handle over on this side and the wheels on that side, and you can push the thing around with the skid pads on this side. So they put this handle on because that's where Traeger has a handle, but they weren't thinking because it serves absolutely no purpose over here other than to maybe hold a towel as a towel rack, but you can't even do that because the drip pan is right below it and your towel is going to land inside the grease. It does have a bottom shelf, which is nice. It has a nice little hopper. It does not have a fuel dump on the back, and it comes with the industry standard controller that is not really up to date, but it's still usable on all circumstances. For $439, this is actually a pretty decent grill. I haven't cooked on this one, but I have cooked on one of these, and everything that you would expect from a smoker is going to be there, but you can see how much sun fade this grill has actually taken. And this is one of the few grills that Z-Grills offers that does not come with a grill cover in the box. Okay, so this is a unique grill from Z-Grills. This is their 600 series. This is going to be the 600 E2, the stainless steel version. Also comes in a blue version, and it also comes in a bronze version. This is a unique grill because it doesn't look like anything else that's out there. It actually has a insulated top lid, which is kind of nice. It has a tray here in the front for putting sauces or rubs or something, and it has a side shelf with a bottle opener with some utility hooks, and the chimney is directly over the shelf, so it does impede some of the usage over there, but you do have another shelf over here on top of the hopper top. This grill weighs like 72 pounds. There's nothing to this thing. It does have a shelf on the bottom in the back, and then when I was putting this together in the front, it had these two panels, and I was thinking that, oh, it'd be nice to have those in the back, but it doesn't allow you to do that. You have to put them in the front. And the grease catchment for this is unique because it doesn't hang off the side. It's actually on the bottom underneath over here on a hook, so you don't even see the grease pan. This grill is very easy to move around, it's easy to assemble, and it does not take up much space. And it's the only grill in the Z-Grills lineup right now that allows you to be able to use a flame broil function by simply spinning a disc that is inside of the grill to let the fire come up. The burn system for this, the burner itself, is modeled after the Louisiana grill, and it actually shares all of the same common component parts for the LG grills or the Louisiana grills. And it's got a pancake fan over here for the air. It's got a very short distance for the pellets to have to travel, and then there's an air gap between them, so you're not going to get any burn backs on this grill because the pellets actually fall the same way that they do on a pellet stove into a burn pot, and that burn pot's mounted over here on the side. When I was looking at this grill, immediately I was drawn to it because it was kind of unique, and I wanted to give it a shot because for all of the good things about this grill, it does have one major drawback, and I kind of saw that right away, is that the grease containment system of this grill is not very good. You have to have this grill completely level when you're cooking on it, and maybe even have it slightly tipped in that direction. There is a little section right here where the grease can drip down off of the pan, but it's flat. It doesn't point down towards the hole, and it's just the surface hole on the metal. So there's nothing to direct it to the hole. So it can pool up in the corners of the sides, and it's also very, very, very narrow. It's like this. So it's almost impossible to get your hand or a vacuum or something down in there to clean it out. I don't think that that is the best design. So after we seasoned this grill and I cooked with it, I decided to get some burgers that were just like completely greasy, as much grease as they could put on, and test out the flame broiler function and see how the grease management of this grill was going to be. And it was just as I expected. It was very, very poor. In fact, I did have a grease fire in here, and you can see where it discolored the paint. It actually bubbled some of the paint off. Inside the grill, it bubbled some of the paint. And which leads me to one more thing about this grill, is that this is not a black powder coated grill, it's a black painted grill. So it's probably a good grill for occasional use, but I don't think that anyone who's serious about smoking or grilling is going to effectively love this grill. The other downside about the grease management is that the grease that gets on the lid, it comes down and it should get caught in this catch and be redirected in the grill, but it doesn't. And it pulls along this edge and it drips down the front and it drips into here and it drips onto there and it's going to drip onto your patio or deck. All right, so we can talk about the construction of this grill. The basic chassis or the barrel of this is very, very thin, very, very thin metal. And it does kind of stiffen up as the grill is constructed. But over here, the hopper lid is really thin, and if a wind comes, it will blow this thing open. There's no dump to get your pellets out, so your pellets can get wet if this thing blows up. And you see how it doesn't close? It's hinge bound. I tried to put a spacer over here, or a washer, but there's not enough length in that screw, and I just cannot get it to sit flat. So I put a magnet on here, and then that holds it down. But you may ask, Scott, how is a stainless steel lid being affected by a magnet? And I'd have to say to you, it's magic. I don't know. It's a stainless steel colored lid, I guess. It would be nice to see a grill under the sub 200 mark. Walmart has one at $292, and there are some others, but I'd like to see like a very low, inexpensive grill. I think they could probably do that with this one, but $500 for this grill just seems like quite a bit for what it actually is. There are better grills in the Z-Grills lineup for that price. So one of the things that I like to see with a grill company is see them evolve. Start putting out things that people want or other companies are offering. And Z-Grills is no exception with that now in their 2021 lineup with the introduction of their 450B. The 450B is going to have a different controller than you've seen with most grills because this is a PID control. It's going to allow you to, I just noticed something. So this is a PID control, but it does not have meat probes on it. The PID controller for the 700 series that they came out with this year does have meat probes, and this one does not. So PID control, lacking the meat probes. It's also going to have a high temperature of 425 degrees, which is suitable with what you'd find in a Traeger, but certainly a little bit lower than what you're going to find, say, with a Pit Boss that can get up to 500 degrees. It has casters on one side, wheels on the other, has a nice handle over here, and it's very easy to move around on any surface. The cord can be wrapped around the handle, which is really nice. The lid on the hopper, they've started to weld the corners, so there's no longer any sharp edges on there. And this is going to be a black powder coated finish as opposed to a lot of their basic grills, which is just black paint that is going to sun fade. This has been out in the sun now for over a week, and we have absolutely no fading with the grill whatsoever. This grill also comes with a cover that's inside the box, and it's going to come with a set of work gloves. This grill does not have any way to upgrade it. It doesn't have any mounts for a front shelf. It doesn't have any mounts for a side shelf. It doesn't have a shelf on the very bottom for storing anything underneath. It does have the sawhorse leg design, which is nice, so it's a bit more stable when you're moving it across grass, say. But I would like to see a shelf on the bottom at least. Your hopper top can act as a shelf over here, but I can tell you that the black powder coated hopper lid on this is also very slick. And I put a tray up on here and it slides around pretty well. So you'd want to be cautious of that. The inside of the grill is your basic warming rack, cooking grid, but what's interesting about this grill, and it's the first one that I've seen with Z Grills, is it has the Pit Boss styled dome grease pan. It doesn't have the cutouts for a flame broiler like Pit Boss is going to have, but the early versions of Pit Boss had this type of grease pan on it, where it sheds the grease to the left and the right side into a V channel, which then travels down the coolest sides of the grill towards the grease bucket, which is a very good design. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two you start to see this grill being offered with the cutouts for the flame broiler. I don't know if that is a patent infringement or not, but I can tell you this, on our website, if you were to get the grease pan for a 340 or a 440 series from Pit Boss, that would fit inside this grill and you could use it as the flame broiling feature. They also give you a window display in here to let you know when your pellets are getting low, and probably the best feature that they're able to offer with their grills is that they now have a dump on the back of the hopper so that you can get the pellets out when you want to change flavors or if you want to prepare it for rain or what have you. And I mentioned it does have a cover, which is nice, and this grill is actually at a pretty good price point, around $400, but it is going to be a very hard decision or hard press to compare this against, say, a Pit Boss Lexington from Walmart for $292 that has everything that this grill has and more. It has meat probes, higher temp, flame broiler, shelf on the bottom, space for a shelf on the side as an option. They need to offer a little bit more, I would say, if you're going to be hitting that price point. As far as a small grill with all the features that you need in a basic grill, I think that the 450B delivers, hands down, a very good grill for your home. The largest grill, and probably the most popular grill that you're going to find from Z Grills, is going to be in the 700 series. And they make a lot of grills in the 700 series, mostly modeled after these two right here. But I can tell you that even though they are all kind of the same size, and these two look exactly the same except one has a cabinet and one does not, there are some other differences that make each one of these three grills completely unique to itself. Starting over here with the smaller one, this is going to be the 700 2E, and this is going to have a bottom shelf that is open with feet on this side and non-marking wheels over on that side. The inside of it is going to have a very large cooking grid and a warming rack, and even though this is a 700 series grill, it's actually better sized to, say, the Pit Boss 820 series, because this barrel is essentially a barrel from a Pit Boss 820. If you were to look at a 700 series from Pit Boss, it is noticeably smaller than this grill. So they've been able to pack as much grill as they possibly can into a standard freight box to ship it directly from the factory to the end user. None of these grills come with a side shelf opposite of the hopper, and there's not even any space for that as an option. So the only side shelf that you're going to get is going to be on top of the hopper of each one of these. This is going to offer you some shelf space on the bottom. The 700E is going to have a fully enclosed cabinet, and the newest grill that they have, which is the 700 2F2, does not have a bottom shelf at all, but it does have the sawhorse styled legs, which make it a lot easier to travel across uneven ground than its counterpart over there, which is a bit tippy when you're moving it by yourself across grass. The 700E, which is also the 700D in the bronze, has 4 caster wheels, and this is a very heavy grill, and it does not like to move across grass whatsoever. The 702F2, very easy to move across the grass, has good wheels on the back for going over uneven surface, but also has casters on this side, so it can be maneuvered very easily on a deck. The 702F2 also has a very nice looking stainless steel decorative trim. It gives you a much larger handle than you would typically find on the 700 series. And it has a PID controller with meat probes versus the typical Z-Grills controller that offers no meat probes, and it is not PID control. Even though this controller on the older style 700s may seem like it's out of date, because it is, it's by industry standards, it's probably 10 years old. 10 years ago when that came in, that was the greatest thing ever, that you could see what temperature it was in the grill. It's not always perfect, but it's a pretty good system. It's tried, it's true, it's been tested, and it does a really good job at doing what it's supposed to do. The other feature that you're going to find on the newer series grill with the PID control is that you're going to get a window down the hopper to let you know how many pellets are in there, which is kind of silly because you could just open it up and take a look, but it's there anyway. Your handle on the side, it also doubles as a place to wrap your cord, and the back of this hopper is going to have a dump so you can get the pellets out if you want to change flavors, or if you gotta prepare for rain or something like that. In the box that you get with these grills, all of these are going to come with a cover that you can put over it that's fitted for the 700 series. So on the inside of all of these grills, basically it's exactly the same. It's going to be a drip pan, a cooking grid, and a warming rack. And there's nothing really different about any of those on the inside, because the barrels are in fact exactly the same size. However, there is one thing that I was able to do, and I want to demonstrate that for you, because when I was measuring the 700 series, I found it odd that they were actually bigger than 700. Most grills, when they say 500, 1,000, 700, it basically means how many square inches do you have for cooking surface on the main grid plus the warming rack. But these seem to be a little bit bigger than 700, and I'm not exactly sure why they chose 700 as the number. But I was curious, so I went over to my other grill, which is over here. Let me bear it back. And so I was looking at the 700 series saying, it looks exactly like maybe a Traeger, but it's smaller than the 34 series, and it's bigger than the 22 series, and it's also a little bit bigger than the Pit Boss 700 series. And I thought, I wonder if this would work. So this is the flame broiler out of a Pit Boss 820. If we remove the cooking grid and we remove the drip pan and we remove the baffle, the flame broiler for the 820 fits in there perfectly. This grill might look familiar if you've been looking around at grills. It's because it is. It's a Grilla Silverback. Exactly. Everything about this grill is the Grilla Silverback. The Grilla Silverback is going to use a better controller over here that is more accurate at holding temperatures, and that is their own proprietary controller. But there's a difference between that grill and this one, and it lies on the inside. You're going to have the same warming rack. You're going to have the same cooking grid. You're going to have the same grease pan. The difference is that the bottom of the 700D and the 700E is insulated. There is an insulating piece of stainless steel in the bottom that is going to keep the wind from changing the temperature of the bottom of the grill and affecting the overall grill temperature while you're smoking things outside in, let's say, windy or inclement weather. And you find that on the 700E and the 700D, but it's not on the 702E, and it's not in the 702 F2. All of the grills are numbered kind of the same. All of the grills look pretty much the same. You would think that there is a hierarchy between these different offerings, when in fact, they're actually all completely different grills that are assembled from parts that Z-Grills has in their warehouse from all of the other grills that they manufacture for all of the other manufacturers. So if I had to pick one of these, to be honest, I would go with this one because it's insulated. I actually kind of like the whole cabinet approach because you can put stuff underneath there and it's not going to get wet. And then I would update this controller, buy the Grilla controller and put that on there. And then you got a Grilla grill for $500 versus $900. And so one of the other things that I like about Z-Grills, and this is unique to Z-Grills because other companies don't do this, but they put this cross weld on their heat baffle, which keeps this thing from warping. And this is the same exact baffle that you would get on a Traeger, but the Traeger's not going to have any of these. It's basically the same as this without these things, and I haven't seen that on any other grills except for Z-Grills. So if there's one thing that they've actually done to their grills that's different than everyone else, is that they've supported their baffles so that they don't warp. You know, the build quality of these is the same that you're going to get when you order a Pit Boss or a Z-Grill or a Louisiana Grill or Rectech or what have you, because the company that makes these grills makes everybody else's grills too. So thanks for watching. Scott Williamson, Grill Parts for Less, and please hit that notification bell for future videos or subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I hope you learned something about Z-Grills, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.